After a night arrival in New Delhi, we slept in a modern hotel. The next morning, along with hundreds of school children, we saw the interesting Indian Railroad Museum. The motorcycles were packed up. We tried on our jackets one more time. Finally, it was time to suit up and take a motorcycle safari through Rajasthan.
Fort Nimrana Palace in Rajasthan, in the town of Nimrana. I think it was built in the 1600s, and it's a dry, deserty air, but it's green and lush down in the valley below. And this place is awesome.
Okay, she's coming.
Right. How'd you like the steps without a rail?
Piece of cake. I've done worse.
How much do you want to stay in India?
Well, this is our room, rather I should say our apartment, at the Hotel Laxmimax Niwas Palace in Bikaner. This is the main sleeping room. Here is our sitting room. And here is our private terrace courtyard. Notice the grilled windows so the little ladies could look out at the world, but nobody could see them. But wait, there's more. This is the dressing room where we can put on our pathetic dirty t-shirts and socks. And this is the bathroom, followed by the throne room. We're about 60 kilometers west of Jaisalmer, just taking a camel ride for a couple of hours out into the desert at sunset. It's very commercial. There's tons of tourists out here. They've even got a snack man coming around with chips and soda. So we're not exactly removed from civilization. It's a lot of fun being on a camel.
The roads in Rajasthan run through a broad, flat desert. The way is straight and level and would be almost 2 lanes wide if there were such things as lanes in India. The asphalt paving, where it isn't absent, isn't bad. As roads go in the developing world, this is a good one. But Indians have their own ideas about what the main thoroughfare is for. It's a place where friends and family can meet, where they can put string beds and have a nap, and let the kids and cows run around unsupervised. It's a roadside cafe with no side to it. It's a rent-free event room for every local party. The road is a store, a warehouse, and a workshop. The road is also convenient for bullock carts, donkey gigs, horse wagons, pack camels, and the occasional laden elephant. Not convenient for taking them anywhere, just convenient. There they stand along with sheep, goats, water buffaloes, pigs, and the innumerable cows sent to graze on the highway. With all this going on, there's no room left for actual traffic. But it's there anyway, in tinny, clamorous, haywired hordes. Marinda Jeeps made with World War II Willis tooling. Ambassador sedans copied from 50s English models. Motorcycles like the ones we rode of equally antique design. Obsolete Twinkie-shaped buses with trails of vomit from every window like zebra stripes. And myriad, top-heavy, butt-sprung, weaving, swaying, wooden-bodied Tata trucks. Their mechanicals as primitive as butter churns. The Tatas are almost as wide as they are long and somewhat higher than either. They blundered down the road, taking their half out of the middle, brakeless, lampless, and treadless tires, moving dog fashion with the rear wheels headed into one direction and the front wheels another. Our tour organizers gave us awards at the end of the trip. We were pronounced to be the Tata Tamers.
Yeah, we were just driving along, doing fine, and we'd passed a bunch of other things, no problem. Then we go out to pass on one of those little Maruti was in front of us, which was annoying as all get out, and we go out. It goes out and pushes us a little bit further over, and we're coming around it, and there's a truck behind us, and there's a truck coming at us, and for some reason it just stops. It slams on its brakes and just stops, and like a puff of smoke comes out from behind it. Wookie slams to stop, but then realizes we can't stop because we'll go right into that and we'll get squished in between the two. He can't go out around the other one because there's one coming this way. And then the next thing you know, we realize that there's another truck that's disabled on the side of the road with that circle of stones on the side. So we go into the stones, around the stones, and just as we get past all the stones, there comes the guy with the tire that was off the front of the truck, and he looks at us like, "You've crossed the stones. How could you possibly cross the stones?" So then we have to cross him, and we go around him and back out the other side. And then after that, we took a little break.
Well, there's two official classes of vehicles. There's trucks and there's the two-wheel vehicles. They tend to follow some sort of cryptic set of rules and regulations. Except for that, there's a group of small cars, which are mainly made by Suzuki over here, called Marutis. These vehicles seem to pay no rules at all and seem to have not in their own interest of self-preservation at all. Generally, the trucks will get out of the way if they feel that they're threatened, and the bikes will get out of the way if they feel threatened. But the Maruti drivers will pay no attention to anybody. The incident comes at hand is going through a level crossing. We stopped at the level crossing. The level crossing eventually, after a length of time, opened. And off we go, charging across. Now there's a whole group of bikes piled up on the wrong side of the road on the other side. They get out of the way pretty quick. Just as we clear those, there's two little Marutis decide that they're going to overtake everybody who's been patiently waiting there. And they're coming down at great rates of knots, expecting I don't know where to go. But they're flashing their lights and they just come hurtling along, and there's big vehicles behind us. So I have no idea where they went once Pip and I passed them. But that's the sort of thing Maruti drivers will just pull out and attempt to go where there is no gaps to go and do the most unpredictable things. We've decided they're probably some sort of evolutionary device to reduce the gene pool.
Apart from all the other things India throws at you on the roads, there was a time the other day, I don't know whether you saw it, when we finally got past a whole heap of trucks overtaking trucks, us overtaking the trucks that are overtaking. And we got to a really quiet patch, and there's some wonderful shops just on the left-hand side, and I turned to look at the shops, and there was a stationary truck. And as I came level with the stationary truck, it just pulled straight out. It was just phenomenal. Pulled straight out, and it would have been an inch from my wing mirror when I suddenly turned and saw, kind of looked up, and there was this truck. And I just had to haul on the anchors because I couldn't see if there was anything now coming towards me, so I couldn't go around it. And, they're just out to kill you, basically.
The Indian government decided that the farmers needed tractors to increase productivity. The farmers decided that the tractors came in a lot more handy as personal transportation. Yet another welfare program meets the law of unintended consequences. India has plenty of other unusual vehicles. My favorite's the diesel motorcycle. What a great idea. Gypsies along the road sold tire maintenance hardware, and just about everywhere we stopped, we drew a huge crowd of onlookers.
बार बार हाँ बोलो यार हाँ अपनी जीत हो उनकी हार हाँ
With a castle on the lake and castles on every hilltop, Udaipur was the most beautifully situated of all the cities we visited. As every resident will tell you, it is the site of that famous James Bond classic, Octopussy. Welcome to Pushkar, a very holy city in India and a major stop on the hippie trail. The first hint we had that it might be a major stop was the names of the local hotels, obviously named to appeal to the Western tourists. Some of the Hindu temples were off limits, but the lake, the beautiful lake, was available for all to see. The steps you see around the side are for the nats of the holy men to come down to the water and bathe in the lake. There's temples everywhere on top of the mountains and all through the city. With all those hippies in town, the sweet sellers do a booming business, and about every fifth store made Indian sweets seem to be doing quite well. When a motorcycle broke, the Indians said it was finished. We had our own mechanic on this trip. He took care of the bikes every night, washed them and cleaned them, and did preventative maintenance. But in spite of that, we had breakdowns on the side of the highway. This particular bike burned a piston, and the part was not readily available, so there was no choice but to tow the bike and replace it with another one, which was brought in from Delhi. The Indians had an interesting method of towing the bikes. The powered bike put his right foot on the passenger foot peg of the unpowered bike and pushed it along the highway at 40 or 50 miles an hour. Like everything the Indians do on the highway, incredibly dangerous. Of course, we had our share of flat tires. This one happened in Jaipur, and our mechanic was really good at changing flat tires. Obviously, it had lots of practice. We stopped at a place where we could get some compressed air. He was able to do a roadside repair in just a few minutes. We stand around and watched him and commented on his expertise. But like everything in India, this drew a crowd. There's always people standing around waiting for something to happen in India, and changing a tire was big action.
I got it.
Before we left the game preserve, we were informed by an elderly gentleman that to get to our next destination, we would be riding on the worst road in India.